It is raining outside, so we're headed down to the pantry. Don't look at my basement. It's not clean. Don't look at it. Okay. Ta-da! We're gonna talk pantry stuff. The last time we were in the pantry was 8 months ago in October. It is now June. And I haven't really taken stock of the pantry in all that time. And I really need to, because lately I have fallen out of the habit of cooking a lot out of the pantry. Pretty sure my kids yesterday ate toaster strudels and popcorn for breakfast. Don't look at me. Don't even look at me. That's not what we're trying to do here. Lately, when it comes to dinner, my mind has just been off. I think it's a combination of just being really super busy, decision fatigue. When it's like, what's for dinner? My brain's like, nope, just no. So a lot of sandwiches have been happening, and also like convenience food, frozen chicken nuggets and tater tots type of things. So it's a mixture here of like, how much have we eaten out of the pantry? Do we need to eat more out of the pantry? What's going on? I've been buying stuff. I have been trying to restock, but I've not been super diligent about it. So I'm like, we need to figure out what's going on here. First, coffee for you. I'm going to start over in the store-bought section here. I already see a bunch of holes where I have not been good at restocking, like our peanut butter. There are 4 jars of peanut butter here. Jelly. I used to have jellies here. Now I don't. Now I just have jelly that I made. This is mulberry jelly. My kids didn't really like the mulberry jelly. I don't know if it's just because I made it. I probably didn't make it super sweet. So we're going to try adding in some different berries this year and try to can our own jelly. Still have 1 jar of these bourbon peach preserve my mom gave me. Lots of cinnamon, still have some raisins. This is just cornmeal. Condiment section is looking all right. I have 1 child who eats a ridiculous amount of ketchup. So I do have 3 big jars, 3 small jars. Mustard, A1 soy sauce. I need to bring these up. These are some pickled tomatoes my mom gave us last year. Zucchini relish. And our salt has been seriously depleted. I used to have a lot more salt down here. That was because we did some meat that required like brining and ended up using a lot of salt. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can find salt in like a small bucket type of thing instead of just buying these, but if I have to buy these, they're pretty cheap. Plenty of oils and big thing of my molasses, which is nice, vinegar and stuff like that. This section has been depleted. I have been trying to restock the noodles as I use them, but that has not happened over here. This used to be 2 baskets full of egg noodles, and you can see that one is completely empty and the other one's only halfway full. Note to self, buy more egg noodles. Ramen. I used to have a lot more oatmeal. We have been going through that. It hasn't all been us, like, because I also make dog food, so it's between us and the dog. More random ramen. This all used to be macaroni and cheese. Look. We've eaten a lot of macaroni and cheese. The most important part, the coffee. Still looks okay. I would like to get some more like fancy coffees. I was into buying like bulk. I bought a lot of this when coffee prices went up like super high. I don't even know what they are right now because I haven't been restocking this. And the reason why is because I'm the only one who drinks coffee. So it's taken me a while to work through the coffee that we do have, but I'll probably be buying another bag here pretty soon. And I'd kind of like to get nicer stuff. No offense to like store brand. More noodles, still okay on that. We haven't been eating this prepared stuff like at all. My kids used to really be a fan of things like SpaghettiOs and ravioli, and now they're not, which I am not sad about. So that's just kind of there in case of emergency. Corn. 3 staples that we run through, I feel like a lot, are the corn, green beans, and peas. We do have corn planted, but I know we're not going to get enough to like make up the amount of cans that we use. Green beans, I think we're going to make it this year because I have like over 200 plants. I think we might be able to can all the green beans that we're going to need, or at least make a hefty dent in it. So here I still have some, obviously, store-bought corn, green beans, and peas. I don't have peas this year growing. More green beans. These I always forget about. Homemade convenience food. And they're actually really good. I canned some. My mom canned some. The ones my mom canned taste better than the ones that I made, but whatever. Working on it. But I always forget they're there. So when I can't think of anything to eat, I need to be like, I'll just get one of those. So now we're moving into things that I did can and grow and what's left of them. There's nothing up here. I think this used to be our pumpkins. This is all that's left of the pumpkins. But I have a bunch of plants growing this year. Pumpkins, butternut, squash. Where this pumpkin is where our sweet potatoes were, and obviously there's no more of those, but I have those planted as well. This is all broth, and it's all vegetable broth, and I need to remember to use it while cooking. We have a few odds and ends here, like cream of soups and chili beans and stuff like that. This, I feel like, used to have more, and now it doesn't, but that's okay. More broth. Canned potatoes. So I canned these from store-bought potatoes. I have not had luck growing potatoes. I just have not, okay? It's really disappointing and sad. We will get there one day because we do eat a lot of potatoes. But the thing is that nobody really likes the canned potatoes. I think I could sneak them into like a stew and people would be okay with them. I tried using them to make mashed potatoes and there was something, it just didn't work out right. I'm not sure why. What am I doing wrong? I don't know. We have been using them anyway. Potatoes, there's not very many left. We were given all of these spaghetti sauces, very nice. And then I still have all these canned tomatoes. So we need to use these up before the tomatoes come in. And this is one of my conundrums because this is supposed to be a Homestead Pantry, but it's also part Prepper Pantry. So I want to use up the things that I've canned, but I also want to make sure that I don't use everything up because what if our tomatoes don't come in this year? What if they don't do well and the zombie apocalypse happens? Then I'm gonna want those. So I'm not sure what the balance is. Do I keep an entire year's worth of food? Not that we're there yet, but keep an entire year's worth of food and then grow for the next year and keep it on a 2-year rotation? Like, I don't know. I don't know what people do. I see a lot of people online who kind of eat their food stores all the way down and then can more. And we're not even close because you're supposed to use like 1,000 jars a year, and I don't even own 1,000 jars. I own about a little over 300 probably. So 2 years would be like 2,000 jars. We have eaten a bunch of these. These are green beans from last year. We've been eating these and the store-bought ones. Try to give the store-bought ones to the dog because the homegrown ones taste better. But I've just kind of been using up whatever we have. On to dry goods. I have a lot of beans still. This is like another one of the most important parts. This is where I have like chocolate chips. Chocolate and coffee. It's important. And then I have, this is about 50 pounds of sugar. And honestly, I'm not too worried about getting more sugar right now. We have been going through it slower, thank goodness, than when I was in my like crazy baking all the sweets phase. This is flour. This has rice, a bag of oatmeal and some more rice. And then I have about 100 pounds of flour right here. So 125, and I have maybe 25 upstairs. So about 150 pounds of flour on hand. And I remember when I used to play the Oregon Trail when I was younger, and like that sounded like so much flour. Like you were gonna fill up your entire covered wagon with flour. It's not that much flour. I have not been baking bread. When I was like baking bread for us, we went through flour so fast. It was ridiculous. I'm okay with what we have on hand right now. As I start baking more, I might need to go ahead and I just need to make sure I keep replenishing it, really. This, I cannot believe this. These are onions from last year, and I forgot we had them. They were down here. I actually bought bags of onions because I forgot that we had onions. Obviously now they're no longer usable, but some of them are growing and I'm gonna go plant them out in the garden because I don't have onions this year. This is the thing. I'm like, some years, last year I had onions. This year my onions I don't. Thus is the life of a homesteader, I suppose. Obviously I'm not like a super advanced homesteader or I would have onions every year. This is where we keep our freezer. It's kind of tight in here, so I'm gonna try to just show you what I can, but it's kind of hard. I got some butter on sale the other day. This is not very much butter at all, but butter is like $5 a pound right now, and this was $2.50. So I just grabbed a few of them while I was out. We do have some convenience foods. Look, we have a pizza, we have some chicken nuggets, some sausages, and then the rest of this is various meat. Most of it is venison. We have roasts and steaks and stuff like that, and then is quail. All right. Stop falling on me. So my husband hunts, our family hunts, our friends hunt. So that's pretty much all the meat we have is hunted meat. It's either venison, elk, quail, pheasant, stuff like that. But we do have some other stuff too. Here's some pork that I got from my parents. And some chicken meat. My brother and my sister-in-law actually run a website called jerkyholic.com. Shameless plug. Great stuff. So every once in a while when they need to film or take pictures or write recipes, they will cook a huge amount of food. They can't eat it all, so they give a lot to my parents and then they give to us too, which has been such a blessing. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you guys. And it like tastes amazing. Oh, forgot to mention also a lot of fish. So that is kind of an inventory of what we currently have. And now I want to try to make some sort of projections for what we're actually going to need or be able to grow ourselves. Our needs have been changing. My kids are growing larger and they're eating more. Whereas a casserole dish of food used to last us like a couple meals before, it lasts us like 1.5 meals now. And soon I bet it'll just be like 1 meal. So we are going through food faster than we used to. Some things we've upped our growing of, like the green beans. We have a ton of green beans. I'm expecting us to be able to can a lot of green beans. Some things I think we either need to back off of or maybe preserve in a different way. So I grew a lot of garlic last year. We did not get through all of it. So I need to find other ways of preserving it. I have done dehydrating some of the garlic. I find that to be kind of a weird way to use it. I guess I need to grind it up and use it as like garlic powder. For the onions, obviously, we didn't get to them in time, although that was my fault because I forgot we even had them. But I did dehydrate some onions and I have used those. Those have stored really well. The thing is, like, I thought it was so annoying at the time to dehydrate onions. I was like, why am I doing this? There's not very much bang for my buck here. This is so annoying. But like then when I had them, when I needed them, it was like really good. We had a ton of honey and I gave away like almost all of it. I was just so excited about it. I was like, here, you have honey and you get honey and you get honey. Which is okay because we had a lot of it. But I would like to start baking more with honey, using the honey more. I want to make sure that we save a little bit more than we did for ourselves, but still give away a good amount of honey. This is like all the salsa that I have. 2 very big pushes for us this year are salsa and pickles because we eat so much of it. And the only reason why that's over there is because I made it and it didn't taste good, so we didn't eat it. We've been eating a lot of salsa, just not the stuff I made. So salsa, pickles, and jelly. Those are 3 things that I really want to boost up my production of this year and can a lot of, hopefully. I hope so. I want to go ahead and figure out different ways to preserve the food. So obviously we do dehydrate, although I find dehydrating so annoying. I don't know why, it's annoying to me. We have a freezer, but I want to keep the freezer space is like just for meat. I don't want to use the freezer space for any sort of vegetable. I had zucchini, shredded zucchini in my freezer. No. By the way, if you know a good way to preserve zucchini, any type of summer squash, please let me know. So I'm giving a lot of priority this year to things that don't need to be preserved at all, like the pumpkins. Pumpkins, butternut squash, sweet potatoes, those are high on my priority list because I don't have to do anything with them. I can just shove them down here. I don't have to can them. I don't have to freeze them. I don't have to chop them up. I can just put them on a shelf and they'll stay good for months. So those are high dollar items in my eyes. I have seen some people who have like specialized storage areas where they can control the temperature and the humidity and they can keep vegetables kind of fresh. I've seen people pack carrots in like sawdust or sand or something like that and just keep certain things fresh for eating. I cannot control the temperature down here, nor can I control the humidity. It is what it is. So while I might play around with that, I'm not going to depend on trying to keep things fresh down here. I don't know, like for instance, cabbages. I am growing a lot of cabbages. I'll probably just turn them into sauerkraut because I'm not sure if I can just throw cabbages down here. I feel like they will probably rot. Same with carrots. I'm just gonna can them. And these taste great, by the way. Once again, if you know how to store summer squash in a way where it can be used, for instance, in dog food, I'd love to hear. Some other ideas would be to can meat. I have not done that yet except for in like soups. We have all of our meat in our freezers and it fits in the freezer, but obviously if, you know, the zombie apocalypse hits, that's not gonna be very helpful. And then I'm gonna be canning over an open flame outside while fighting zombies trying to get my meat canned. Like, that's not ideal. So I might try canning some meat and just see how it goes. Likewise with eggs. I feel like 2 years ago we had a glut of eggs. We had so many eggs. There's so many. Didn't preserve them. I sold some of them. We ate a lot of them. We used them. And now, for whatever reason, we do not have very many eggs. Our chickens are getting a little bit older, even though we have some younger ones. We just are not getting the amount of eggs. I think it's probably because we're eating more eggs, honestly. My kids eat a lot of eggs, so it's probably not the chicken's fault. It's probably my kids' fault. Eating lots of eggs. But I've seen people who have a lot of chickens and then they lime eggs, so they have a lot of eggs for the winter. That would definitely be something to look into. Okay, so I talked about how it helps me to visualize the amount of food, just like the pounds of flour. I didn't know how much 150 pounds of flour was, and it very much helps me to see it. Same with the canned food. So here are my cans. So many jars, so many jars. You would think that this is like more jars than people would ever need of jarred food. This is only like 300 jars. And they say the average family needs 1,000 jars of food. So we're not even a third of the way there. What I would like to do is go and try to figure out how many of these jars do I need to fill up with green beans? How many do I need to fill up with carrots? That sort of thing. I'm not gonna figure that out right now because my brain is already so thus concludes our pantry update for June. I'm hoping to see this space radically change in the next month or so as we start preserving the harvest from the garden. Also, I need to do some grocery store runs. How is your pantry? Do you have any tips for me? Gladly, I will take them. Thanks for hanging out.